This is J. Krishnamurti's second discussion with teachers and students at Brockwood Park, 1975.
What shall we talk about this morning? Or shall we go on from where we left off the other day?
Sir, I think for many of us we'd like to open up an area which we didn't touch on the other day. While we felt everything that was said was very true, there are some other things which are more deeply oppressing us in a way here. I feel many people don't feel quite happy, don't feel that this place is conducive in the way you talked about the other day, or that we are free in the way you talked about the other day.
That you're not free, that you're not happy.
All right, but let me go into it a little more so it doesn't just seem like a blunt statement like that. I think that the problem comes when authority takes on very subtle forms or very surreptitious forms of which we're not aware sometimes. That is, each one of us has an authority internally, inside us. We have the authority of our understanding, the authority of our experience. And we may not be aware that we're subtly influencing others with that form of authority. And it's very difficult for us sometimes to pinpoint that in another. It's very difficult to talk it over sometimes because perhaps another person doesn't realize he has this form of authority. And so on. I think that this question is somewhat pressing people.
Is that what you want to discuss?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm. Also, if you can bring it in, I mean, I would question whether there is the willingness to learn that we all agreed upon the other day that there was. I mean, if we could talk about willingness or...
All right, sir. Some of you are going out into the world after this, or most of you, and you probably know what the world is like, at least second-hand, from newspapers, from television, but you have never come directly into contact with this horrible world. I think it's much worse than what you think it is. Far worse. Kidnapping, butchering, bombing, wars, corruption, immorality, from the highest to the lowest. This is, and I can't tell you, much more worse things are going on. And you have got to face this. Because you are not going to live in Brockwood forever. For your own sake and for our sake. You're going out to meet all this. Probably you are very depressed, facing this, that you have faced this. And probably also question, what's the point of it all? What's the point of being educated? What's the point of coming to Brockwood? What's the point of anything? Probably it's also part of your questioning. I hope it is. And seeing all that, your relationship with the world and your relationship with each other, which is the world. What place has learning in all this? What place has authority, not only the external authority of law, the policeman, the lawyer, the judge, and all the rest of it. And also the authority that each one wants to have over others. I've been aware that one or group of people exercise authority over the rest of you. It's so obvious. Somebody is depressed, somebody is disgruntled, somebody thinks it's a rotten place, and that person talks about it, enjoys talking about it, and influences the others, and so on, so on, so on. Now, do you really want to learn about authority? Do you? Learn, not be told, not react to it. Not express your opinions, why should we have authority? Or why shouldn't we have authority? But you want to actually learn about it. That is, investigate it, go into it, examine it, find out for yourself. If you are, then we can go very deeply into it, in all its subtle forms. But first, you must be very clear that you want to learn about it. Not from me, but together learn what is implied in all this business of authority. Avanti, avanti. Do you? What does it mean to learn? Sorry, I must go into this, otherwise you will skip and say, well, let's get on with authority. What does it mean to learn? Why do you want to learn about authority? Come on, sirs, go on.
It affects your life. I mean, it has an effect on your life.
Does it really affect your life? Don't just verbalize and get excited about words, but do you really want to learn so that you can understand the whole problem of existence?
Well, we don't know what learning is.
That's what I'm coming into.
Well, I mean, what's usually...
Look, sir, I'll tell you what I mean by learning. I really don't know what authority means. I rebel against the external authority, or I am inclined to exercise my particular authority over another, or I want to assert myself.
Or we want to learn because we think it will get us something.
So I want to learn about authority because the whole world, you understand, the whole world is based on authority, which means tradition, knowledge, experience, and the hierarchical structure of a society. All that is implied in authority. Not just petty little authority over little groups of people. That's also included. But this whole question of authority, the authority of the few, as in communist Russia or China. The authority of the priest, the authority of a symbol, the cross, is a tremendous traditional authority. You following all this? The authority of the prime minister, the authority of the policeman, the authority of the scientist, the physicist. So if you want to learn about authority, you have to examine not only what is happening outside yourself, but also inwardly. Are you willing to do that? Go on, sir.
Well, still, there's usually only the willingness because we think it will get us somewhere.
No. Either you learn for its own sake, or use learning as a spade to dig a position for yourself. Which is it? Do you want to learn about authority for itself, or you want to learn in order to acquire a knowledge which you will use in the world to acquire a position? You understand? Oh Lord, come on, sirs. I want to learn about knowledge. Not because I'm going to utilize it, but the very understanding of it brings clarity. You understand? The very understanding of authority. And then I'm free in the world. So you go on. So there are two meanings to learning. Either you learn for itself, or you learn to acquire knowledge about authority and exercise that authority, both inwardly and outwardly. Personally, I think authority in any form is evil. Whether it is the tyrannical authority of the communists or any authority. I don't want to exercise any authority over you, and I don't want you to exercise any authority on me. So, do you want to learn about it? I made it perfectly clear. If it isn't clear, I'll go into it much more. Either you learn physics because you want to become a scientist and therefore well-known and money and position, if you can do it, if you've got the talent for it, or you learn physics because it is in itself, it is the world. It's the structure of the world. So I must be very clear, you must be very clear, whether you want to learn for itself, for its own beauty, for its own intelligence, for its own integrity, or you want to use it in order to get somewhere.
What if it is just a very intense interest? One can't have equal interest in
No. I'm not equal interest. I'm saying, do you want to learn about authority? If you want to learn about authority, learning in order to acquire something out of that learning, or learning for its own beauty, for its own vitality, for its own strength, for its own integrity.
But if you say want to become a physicist, not in order to be greater than someone else or make more money, because physics is
Part of life. Yes.
Is that also?
That's a different thing.
Well, yes.
I want to learn physics because it's part of my life. As I want to know what kind of food I should eat, what kind of exercise I should do. Similarly, I want to learn about physics. That's quite different from learning physics in order to be something. I think this is clear, isn't it? Huh? Right?
So what if in a case in which I am interested in learning about authority, but I look around me and I see there are very few people who are interested, and therefore I just feel rather fed up and don't really want to take part because these other people are entrenched in their own authorities.
What am I to do in that case? I'm entrenched in my authority, in the way I learn, exercise, and you want to learn about it. What is our relationship between us two? We is to soon separate.
We're separate.
Obviously, if I am exercising authority and you are against it, I play along with you for some time, and at the end of a year, I find that that I am impossible. Then you say, "Good morning, sir. I'm going somewhere else." If you can. So let's begin. If you want to learn about authority, either you learn it as a part of existence, as part of our whole life, not something by itself. Or you learn about authority in order to grow in authority. You follow? Now, let's proceed. What is authority? The meaning of that word. The dictionary meaning. Not what you think authority is or what I think authority is, the meaning of that word. As we said the other day, it comes from the word author, one who originates something. You got it? You originate a thesis, an idea, a structure, architectural structure, all right, something original. And then I come along and imitate you. Because it's profitable to me too. You follow all the implications of it. So authority means the one who originates and the one who imitates. Am I all right, sir, so far? Good. Beethoven originated something, or Mozart. And then the rest of the musicians followed. Bach didn't follow, he originated something. Therefore, he was the author. That is the meaning, the dictionary meaning of authority. Right? It is not a matter of you and I agreeing, going to look in the dictionary, it is there. Now, why does this sense of conformity to an authority of an idea, please listen, idea, ideals, a pattern, a tradition, why has it become so strong in the world? You understand my question? Take communist Russia as an example. I'm not against or for it. We'll go into it. Why has the authority of the few, oligarchy, become so strong? You're not allowed to vote. You're not allowed to think for yourself. You're not allowed to criticize the government. You're not allowed to go from one town to another. If you want to live in Moscow, you have to get permission. You follow all this? Why has authority of that kind become important? Why do people accept it? Go on, sir.
Out of fear. I mean,
Out of fear, go on. Investigate it, sir. Go on.
Out of security.
Go on, investigate it.
Conditioning.
Would you, listen carefully, would you accept it?
perhaps they're too lazy.
Huh?
They are too lazy to rebel against it.
What?
They are too lazy, kind of in the mind.
If you were in Russia, under these circumstances, would you accept it?
Well, the alternative was to be thrown in a prison camp.
Wait, no, you would go to prison and all the rest. I'm asking you, would you accept it?
No.
Huh?
No.
Why not? Listen, they give you food, clothes, shelter, marvelous holidays on the Black Sea. Only you cannot criticize the government. Only you cannot do this, that, the 10 different things. Wouldn't you accept it?
No.
No. Of course you would. If you are guaranteed food, shelter, holidays, money, that's what you want.
Yeah, but those are all physical things.
I mean, I'm starting with that, old boy. I didn't say. That's what human beings want first. And therefore they tolerate it. Only few people like Solzhenitsyn, he gets out, he's thrown out. There are several Russians who are dissident, who are totally disagree with the system. They are either sent to prison, shot, or expelled. But the rest say, well, all right, you give me food, clothes and shelter, holidays, good food, work, and I'm quite satisfied. Right? Aren't you going to do the same here in the so-called free world? You conform. No. You conform. If society offered to you tomorrow all the things you want, you say, all right, old boys, I'm perfectly satisfied.
I don't think they would question you.
Huh?
I don't think they would.
Wait, I'm questioning it. I'm not at all sure. When you pass exams and we enter into a college, and university degree, then you're caught. Aren't you? Huh?
What do you mean you're caught?
Caught in the pattern, which is the authority.
But we're in constant.
That's not the point.
Why isn't it? Are we psychologically caught necessarily? If we can
You're physically caught. I'm sticking to that one thing first, and then we'll move to the other level.
As a matter of fact, right now, we are living in a society and we are already caught, physically. In other words...
No, I'm trying to say, Tunki, most human beings want these things first. Security, physical security, food, clothes and shelter. If you guarantee that to me, I say, that's enough for me. Look after the world, go to, do anything. Give me that first. Aren't you all in that position? Huh?
Otherwise, if one were in that position, nobody would question anything, because we're all sheltered, fed, and clothed.
We are all in that position first. We want that thing first, and therefore we accept authority. Don't you? You look puzzled. Don't you accept it?
What? I mean, certain authorities, yes.
That I'm sticking to that one thing. Please, I'm going to explore into various forms of authority. I'm examining the physical desire, biological desire or urge to have food, clothes and shelter. If the examinations offer me that, I say, right.
But you use desire, is it?
Authority. I say, don't go off on a word.
You use desire. You said
I did.
Desire or the urge for the physical needs.
But that's the
Without
only...
it, you couldn't live. You
That's
couldn't talk about philosophy.
Therefore, I wouldn't.
It's a
Therefore,
need, isn't it?
Therefore, I say, we all succumb to this sense of authority when this is granted. Huh?
It is granted. I think you select how you will come by it.
What do you mean? I don't quite follow.
Well, you choose to do this or not do that.
But why don't they all rebel against Politburo? No, please, you listen what I said. You're all going from... I said, why do accept the authority of a few who guarantee this, and then why do we accept or have accepted the authority of the priest for centuries, who guarantee your heaven or everlasting life? I mean, wait, I'm showing you the same thing.
Doesn't that come back to fear?
Huh?
Doesn't that come back to fear?
It comes back. I don't want to enter the motivation of it. I see the fact that we accept authority. One case in Russia, and the other case is the whole Christian attitude of the priest exercising authority, representing Jesus.
But that's dead and finished.
Huh?
That's dead and finished.
590 million Roman Catholics.
It is not finished. They'll move from that into something else.
Yes, but in both those cases, you promised something. You promised, the priest says, if you accept what I say, you're going to have
everlasting life.
Right, and
right. And the other says everlasting life here.
Yes.
That's all.
But isn't it only accepting authority when you abandon your
right to think for yourself.
But you are being conditioned that way. Do you know what has happened, sir, in the Christian world? When they thought for themselves, they were burnt. They were heretics. They were crucified. They were tortured. The same thing which is happening in Russia. I am asking why human beings, you, accept authority. Because we want security. If the democracy offers security, I will go after democracy. If tyranny offers, dictatorship offers security, I'll go after that. So do you, please follow this, do you want authority or authority as a means of survival, physical survival, a social system that offers you food, clothes and shelter, job, bank account, etc., etc.? Do you accept that authority? You do. You have. You may reject the authority of the priest.
There's no problem. You can earn a livelihood adequate to sustain you and put a roof over your head by simple work.
Where?
Anywhere in England, anywhere in Europe. Or in
Wait, please, my lady.
That's where we are.
Wait, that's where you are. I'm not at all sure you are there. The work, earning livelihood, is becoming less and less and less.
It is so at this moment.
And that's all.
You still have the right of choice.
In England, you have. I said in England, in the so-called, in America, in India, in so-called democracies, with all their confusion and misery and all the rest of it, you have that. I took Russia as an example of accepting authority which guarantees you these things.
But you also said, Krishna, you take exams, you go to university and take a degree, and then you're caught.
Caught? You're back at authority.
But we've got people right here that have done that, have taken exams and gone to university and taken degrees, and I wouldn't say...
You're not caught. Please just...
So you don't have to be.
If you would define what court is, obviously...
I mean, come on, court. I don't have to define a single word. You know what the meaning of the whole thing. Look, I can go to Russia if I'm a Russian, and if I'm fairly aggressive and competitive and clever, at the age of 13, I can pass an exam. Then I enter into a totally different world. If I'm dull, stupid, I'm not good at examination, I enter into a totally different world. I'm taking Russia as an example where tyranny guarantees me food, clothes and shelter. In the democracies, though it is becoming less and less possible, go to India, they advertise for a cook. Please listen to this. Listen, learn. They advertise for a cook. I think paying them about 50 pounds, no, 50, less than that, footling sum. And you know who turned up? PhDs, MAs, doctors, lawyers, because they couldn't get jobs in their career, in their profession. So, that's one question. Look at it from how we, given conditioned, given certain environment, we accept authority easily. Right?
What else can
No, wait. We'll find out what to do. For 2,000 years in Christian world, you have accepted authority. Haven't you? Going to any church, you have there the authority. Complete authority. You are conditioned during these 2,000 years to accept the assertions, the dogmatism, the superstition of the church. No? Hmm?
No.
My lady, there were few, vast majority. Wait.
Some people did, but what is that?
I am saying how we are conditioned to accept authority.
But we're not.
We are,
Large
that's,
numbers are, and some are not.
some are not. Very few are not.
There are always very few.
That's all I'm saying. There are very few who will not accept authority.
Can we start at a different point? Last night we talked about it as we looked at an infant when he comes into the world. He has to, in a sense, accept the authority of his
The mother.
parents.
So, how do we discuss this thing? I can see for myself, observing this, I say no authority in any, for myself. You follow? To me, authority is deadly, destructive.
But what, I mean, I do see you accepting authority, though.
Wait, I'm going to go into it. I come to you as a physicist. You are my authority. But I'm not going to make my life conform to your pattern of what you think I should, etc., etc.
Well, what if I'm your doctor, though?
I accept the doctor. I go to the doctor. I say, look, wait, sir, wait. I'm ill. I'm very careful. I hardly go to a doctor except once or twice a year to have myself examined. Otherwise, I don't go near a doctor. But suppose I go to a doctor, I'm ill, I'll have to accept what he says.
Then when you said, I don't accept authority in any form, what did you
Wait, my God, it's all so damn simple. What do you mean?
But you use a big blanket statement.
I will show you. I refuse to accept authority because it's destructive of intelligence. Hmm?
Yes.
I mean, how do you agree with that? Why do you agree with that?
I don't agree. What authority are you talking about, sir?
I'm coming to that. So I say there is the authority of law, where policemen say keep to the right or left. I have to follow because of the convenience for the rest of the people. The authority of a lawyer, the authority of a doctor, the authority of a scientist, the authority of a mathematician who is teaching me what mathematics is.
All that has to be questioned too. Otherwise that will go dead.
No. How the teacher who is teaching me exploits his knowledge and uses me, etc., etc. But this is all. Look, I go to him to teach me physics.
And make him into authority.
Huh?
And make him into authority.
Wait, no. Depends on him.
Exactly. It's a
Wait,
relationship.
I'm coming to that. Depends on him and depends on my attitude about learning and his attitude about learning. If both of us are learning, there's no authority.
But there's a factual authority, if you want the word. He knows
More than I do.
This doesn't give him authority in another field, but in physics, he knows.
Of course, I agree.
But only in that area.
Only in that limited area. If he says, you mustn't smoke, you must drink alcohol, etc., I say, please. I'll discuss with him. He's my friend. Therefore, I have a certain relationship as a student with him. Therefore, I'll talk it over with him. But he can't, he wouldn't, if he was a good teacher and who's also learning with me, he wouldn't exercise his prejudice or his knowledge or his experience to convince me of something. He would talk it over with me. Then in that case, there is no authority. Are you following all this, or are we having two conflicts?
So I'm confused, sir, when authority is positive and productive and when it's negative and evil.
No, there is no... So don't use this word positive and negative, that means... Huh?
But say, for instance, you quote the dictionary to us. Now that is, you're setting that up as, in a sense, an authority.
No, because we all have agreed, the world, your English world has agreed by usage of etc., etc., that the dictionary represents the meaning of certain words.
Do you call that authority?
Yes, call it authority if you want to.
So there is, as Scott just said, there is authority that is relevant and acceptable, and there is authority that is in another area which we have to go into.
That I'm pointing out something also, which is that we accept authority when we accept authority because we want security. That's all. They accepted that ugly man Mussolini because he brought Italy some kind of order.
Disorder too.
Huh?
Disorder also.
I mean, some kind. My lady, I said some kind of order, which doesn't mean complete order.
Some did.
Huh?
They did accept him, that's a fact.
Beg pardon?
They accepted him.
They accepted him. Because he made the trains punctual, there was security, though they were at every corner there was a policeman. They accepted it. They accepted Hitler.
But is there a point at which this becomes twisted? I mean, we'd all agree that if you watch a small animal in the wild, whenever he comes across a frightening situation, he runs to his mother. The same with a child. This seems to be the natural stage in development.
Wouldn't you, madam, accept authority if you are guaranteed food and clothes and shelter? Huh?
What else? I mean,
Go. Just think about it for a minute.
It's not separated, it's all interlinked.
If it's tyranny that one cannot speak, think, do certain things, many of us would question that. It's not, those aren't the only facts in the bargain.
I don't think so. I think if someone promised me that, and on the other hand was to go out in the streets and starve, I would most certainly run for that.
Yeah.
But it's
Of course, that's what's happening in the world.
It's not like that.
That's because we're not in that position here at the moment.
Who?
We are more subtle, actually, more subtle.
Krishnaji, we all have that security already of food, clothes and shelter. If we didn't, if we were starving...
Sir, I don't say you haven't got it. I'm examining the whole problem of authority.
But it's so hypothetical to say if you were in that situation.
It is not hypothetical.
We'll be in it soon, right?
You put a question to us, if we had that, would we accept it?
I said, please just listen. I said, most people accept authority as a means of survival, both psychological and physiological. That's all. And I'm afraid most of us would be, though we live in democracy and freedom, would do that. You may be free while you are here. Or you may not, you may want more freedom. I don't know why you want more freedom, but you may want more freedom.
But another way to put that would be to say that that's one of the ways that an authority works, by threatening your security.
Yeah, threatening and rewarding. Those are the two principles on which our societies mentality and structure is based. Reward and punishment.
At what point did the authority of the doctor, say, become evil?
When he interferes with my way of thinking.
But the way we're discussing the word authority now differs from the dictionary meaning.
I said now, yes, because we are expanding the meaning of that word. We said first the meaning of that word is the originator and the man who conforms to that which was originated.
There's always two ways of looking at it.
No, according to dictionary, sir. Dictionary has only one meaning, not you and I looking at it differently. It says authority means the author of something, the originator of something. That's all.
But when we use the word authority, it doesn't always have to be evil.
No. When we use the authority, you are a gardener. You are the top gardener. You know everything about gardening. What kind of manure, what kind of tree, what kind of plant, what kind of flower, and so on and so on. I don't know anything about it. I come to you and I want to learn about gardening. And with that spirit I come to you. I don't assume that you're going to shape my life. I want to learn about gardening, a subject only. I do not want you to shape my life. Or I don't want you to exercise your knowledge in exploiting me. I say, please, I want to learn. That's quite a different matter.
Well, the wrong thing about our acceptance of food, clothing and shelter from a government in return for which we accept authority, that is a phony authority. The authority is an authority on life.
Yes, we have said that clearly, sir. The authority of knowledge in things of functional, in the field of knowledge. In that field, there must be authority. There must be somebody who knows, somebody who doesn't know. It is like that, unfortunately. But the authority of the priest says, believe in this. The authority of the priest, the authority of the people who assume they know everything, they say, do this, don't do that. This will give you everlasting life. If you don't do that, everlasting hell. Reward and punishment. Now can we go on from there?
Wait, but why then did people accept this kind of authority when there was no need, I guess?
Because they were trained, conditioned to the idea, to the belief that there was heaven and hell, which the priests cultivated very carefully. Right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For 2,000 years they have been doing this. And you are conditioned. And very, very few escape from that conditioning. Altogether. Which means not go back to Indian philosophy, you follow? Or Indian method of church or all the rest of it. When you discard the authority of the priest, you discard the authority of all the priests in the world. So, that's now we know more or less what we're talking, how do we? What we mean by authority. So there is external authority, law, police, keep to the left of the road or right of the road as in Paris and so on, tax, all those are extra. Now there is the internal authority, right? I think this is so. Right? And because I can express it clearly and strongly and or in different ways, you say, by Jove, he knows a great deal. And he's the authority, all right. I dominate you through my prejudice. Or I dominate you because I have a personality. I feel, you follow?
You can dominate me if I let you dominate.
But now, why do you allow yourself to be dominated?
No, I don't.
You don't say you don't. That's one of the most difficult things, Nelson. Not to be influenced by me, by her, or by your ideas about yourself. You understand? Not to be influenced. That's one of the most difficult things. You are influenced when you see a cinema, go to a film, see a film. You are influenced when you read a book, the magazines. You are influenced by your friends. You are influenced by your wife, husband, girl, boy. You follow? Don't say you are not.
How are you influenced?
If I have a wife, she says to me, do this, darling, I love you. I'm influenced. No?
Are you really influenced? If she tells you, well, do this, and you see it has to be done.
Sir, if she tells me do it, and I don't like to do it, she asks me to go and sweep the yard. I've just come back from the office. I am bored. I want to rest. And she said, please go and do it. And I would like to tell her, go to hell, I want to rest. But I daren't. So I say, all right, darling, I go and do it. I mean, I have been influenced. What's wrong with this?
Isn't this the basic trouble we have, that we don't even see that we...
That's all my point, sir. You don't see these things. That means you don't learn.
But isn't it a very complicated thing? It isn't a question of, darling, go and do it.
It's
a question of a whole lot of other circumstances.
Of course, it's a tremendous thing. When Nelson says, I'm not influenced, I say, good Lord. He doesn't know what it means. He has stopped learning when he says, I'm not influenced. Sorry. You have to learn about it. So are you prepared? Listen, Nelson, are you prepared to learn about influence, which persuades people, shapes your mind, the way you think, the way you act?
And also to see the whole situation so that you can act. I mean, which doesn't necessarily involve influence. Influence is there, but you have to weave your way through it and around it. You have to see the whole thing and act.
First of all, I see you influence me.
You can't get away from it.
Wait, I'm not sure. Wait, please. I want to find out. You influence me. Why do you want to influence me? Because you want me to think in a certain way or do something in your way. You want to influence me. And I, being rather sensitive, weak, or whatever it is, I accept your influence. But if I want to learn about the whole problem of influence, I have to find out why you influence me and I accept your influence. Why do I accept the influence of dozen things? what is this necessity of being influenced and accepting influence? That's my point. You understand what I'm talking about?
I don't quite understand the influence. What the example that you use, darling, go and sweep the yard. If I'm tired and I've just come from work or whatever, and I don't want to sweep the yard, I mean...
Then what happens?
There will be a way, I'll find out a way of saying, well, let me just rest for a while and then I'll
Yes,
sweep it.
but there is no time because children are coming and
I suppose you will do the right thing when...
that means you have to watch not only yourself, her,
yeah.
That means you and her are in a relationship where you are learning, both of you.
Yeah, I see, but why did you say...
Now look here, Nilsson. She raised the question. We are subtly influencing each other, right? Can it ever stop? And why do you want to influence another? Please believe me, I don't want to influence you in any direction.
It may be unconscious.
Huh?
It may be unconscious.
No, even don't attribute it. I'm telling you, listen to me. I consciously or unconsciously, in no way I want to influence you. Because if you are capable of being influenced by me, you are capable of being influenced by somebody else.
What is the difference between influence and sensibility?
I want to use, because she raised that, used that word, and that's a very good word.
But a stranger could come in here and listen to this last 10 minutes of the
And
conversation.
we were quarreling.
We'll say, listen, I see this fellow's trying to influence this young man over here.
No, I'm not. I said, because he doesn't understand, he hasn't listened long enough, he hasn't find out what I want to convey, he just judges. Which is, he has been influenced in a certain direction, and therefore he so on.
Oh, see, we are using the word influence to mean to change someone's
No, I influence.
or ideas.
What does that word mean, to influence somebody? To persuade, to direct, to convince, to show him this is the right way to do. Influence. I think that's a very good word.
Well, I mean, if there's no influence or anything, then there's nothing.
No. Are you aware, Tunke, are you aware that you are influencing and others are influencing you? That's all the point in this. As he pointed out, we don't know even that this is taking place.
When you just now said, I don't want to influence you, I mean, how can you not influence somebody? Doesn't it depend on the other person to see clearly?
I am stating what, to me, must be that way. I don't want to influence you. Then I become a propagandist. A propagandist is a liar.
But if you are, say, pointing out something...
But I said, I'm doing it now.
It has an
No. I'm asking you, don't be influenced by me, but look at it. Examine it. Go into it. Learn about it. That's not influencing. That's not trying to persuade him. That's not trying to convince him. That's not trying to push him in any direction, but say, do look. That's not influence. No. You can reduce everything to rubbish.
We should be clear about the differentiation between influence and learning, surely.
Yes, all right.
I mean, change can come about through learning, or it can...
I can persuade you, influence you, direct you to learn. Reward, punishment, push, and so on. Or I can help you, not help you, I can say, look, let's look at this, let's learn about it. That's not influence. That's not influence.
If you say to me, this is a very interesting book about whales and dolphins, is that influence?
No, I say, read it. That's not influence.
Say read it.
Read it. Really, my lady, you're making me so... Let's come back. Are you aware, all of you, that you are being influenced? Or you are influencing by your moods, by your clothes, by your solitude, by your saying, I must withdraw myself one day and explode another day? Do you know this, that you are being influenced? You are influenced. Are you aware of it? Newspapers, television, Prime Minister when he talks, and Mrs. Thatcher, all that.
Then everything influences you.
Huh?
Actually, then everything influences you.
So everything is, sun is influencing you, except food, clothes, everything. So then you are the result of all influences. Huh? Aren't you? Nelson? Poor chap. So, if you see that everything is influencing you, pushing you in a certain direction, trying to convince you of something, trying to force you, offering a reward, punishment, all that is implied in that one word, then what do?
Isn't that influence without the reward and punishment? That's an added extra.
I added that word, influence, in that word, reward and punishment. That's what the church has done.
Yes, but there's influence apart from reward and punishment.
Oh yes, I can influence you to do something because it gives me great pleasure. It helps me to dominate you.
Even different from that, though, there's the influence of the sun. There's the influence of the climate you live in. The food
Of course, I said that sun, climate, food.
Yes, but there's no reward or punishment in that.
My lady, of course not. You come on, sirs. What shall I do? I am the result of the influences of India, of Europe. Because I've lived in Europe for many years. I've lived in America for many years. I'm influenced by all the things around me, by people, by magazines, by cinemas, by the people I have met, their ideas. They're bombarding me all the time, right? No?
I don't think it's clear yet what influence is in its totality. That there are ways that influence works that we haven't yet talked about. I think Dorothy was hinting at it, that there are other influences, like the influence of ideas or idea systems.
Ideas, systems, philosophies.
Yeah, I have an example. Like we're walking in the woods, and I see a mushroom, and I immediately pick it up, and I want to eat it later. To me, that's what we do with things we find in the woods.
Right.
Now, your idea is that we leave them there, and let these living things grow, and then we have a conflict.
No, sir.
Now, who's right? In other words.
Not who is right and who is wrong.
No, but I mean, I might say to you now, don't pick that mushroom. It's a living thing.
No, so I will leave it alone if I think I don't need it.
Yeah, but you might.
If I'm hungry, if I'm slave to my tongue, then I should just pick it up and go and cook and eat it. No, sir, look, I want to go into a deeper sense. You are the result of all the influences in the world, right? Tradition, ideas, ideals, propaganda of Jesus Christ, and in India all their circus stuff, all their carnival about religion, so on, so on, so on, so on. I'm the result of my parents, the society I live in. They have all contributed an influence which made me, right?
Is that what you're trying to bring our attention to?
Of course. Go into it deeper. I'm the result of all that.
There is something that is a result.
Of course. I'm an American. In language, in thought, in saying Vietnam, I wish we had defeated them, and so on, so on, so on, so on. If I'm the other night turning on the television, the Queen was in Japan, and our Queen, God save the King, all that. So
it's not so much the meaning of the word influence, but the thing that it's affecting.
I want to go into it deeper, sir. That is, we are conditioned by these influences, right, sir? Do you all agree to this?
Yeah.
This is simple enough. And I object to one kind of influence and accept the other kind of influence. Pleasant, unpleasant. Rewarding and punishing. So I accept some influence which are agreeable, some which are not, according to my conditioning. Right? So, influences of various kinds, climatic, sociological, economic, religious, and so on, have influenced the mind, which is now living. Right? Right? You agree to those? Not agree. See it? Nelson? Now, what am I to do? If I live in Russia, I'm conditioned that way. There is no Jesus, there is no God, only state. Lenin is my greatest guru.
So surely isn't the first question, am I satisfied with this? Or am I dissatisfied with it?
Your dissatisfaction, satisfaction are based upon your conditioning, which is the result of your influence. And if I'm dissatisfied by one influence, and I say that's bad, I am judging that influence according to my conditioning. According to my tradition, according to this social structure in which I've been brought up.
If you suddenly were in an extremely tyrannical situation and you saw people being butchered, would that be a result of your conditioning?
No, that's quite a different thing. It's quite, you see, let me limit it for a while. For God's sake, don't expand it too much, because otherwise we'll get lost. So what am I to do when she is influencing me by her moods? Sorry, I don't know if you're moody or that's your affair. When you are an artist and you're trying to say, look at that beautiful tree, it should be painted this way.
But also, we think that we can do something about it.
I want to find out, what am I to do?
Well, we think we can do something.
Can you?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I'm asking you. That's what you're all concerned, to do something. The social reformer, the politicians, the economists, making things worse and worse and worse. Everything human beings touch goes to pieces. Nearly. Otherwise they would jump on me if I didn't add that word near. So what am I to do? Knowing she is influencing me. By her cleverness, by her interest in talking about inwardness, by her moods, by her look, she's influencing me. And you are influencing me. I pick up a newspaper that's influencing me. So mustn't I read a newspaper? Then I shut my eyes and withdraw into a little corner and die. Right? So what shall I do?
Wait, I want to ask a question before that. Let's say in Russia, the system is as it is. And what will make somebody say, first of all, see that he is influenced by the government and everything? What will make him say, what am I to do? How is he going to change his attitude towards? No, I can't.
Look, sir, you've heard of Solzhenitsyn and Sakharov. They are in revolt against the system. Sakharov is one of their biggest scientists. Therefore, they daren't touch him. Solzhenitsyn wrote against it all, and they exiled him. He lives in Switzerland. The rest, vast majority of people say, please, we will follow, give us food, clothes and shelter, everything is all right. Leave us alone. You and I can't change those people. Right? So we are talking about you and me living in a world where we're still somewhat free. And we say, you're being influenced by everything around you. Cloudy day, sunny day, by the food, clothes, by the people you live with, the propagandists, the television, the priests, the books, everything. If I live with her, she influences me by her moods, by her exaltation the third day, and so on, so on, so on, so on. So what am I to do?
Yeah, but what makes you say, what am I to do?
I'm asking you because that was the question that was raised. If I'm always being influenced by everything around me, right, there is no freedom. Right? The communists say freedom is a bourgeois idea because they say conditioning is the only thing that's real. Rest is all nonsense. So if I'm being influenced all the time, my mind says, what's going to happen? That means mind can never be free. Right?
Isn't influence a condition of existence?
What?
Is there any difference between influence and relationship?
Influence in relationship.
And relationship.
Yeah, great deal. If in relationship, all right, what is a relationship? Come on, sir, discuss with me. What is relationship? You like somebody, you don't like somebody, right? You are my girl or my boy. What is that relationship?
There's something happening between you and someone else.
What is happening?
Either like or dislike.
Go on, sir, examine it. Don't just say that. Much more is involved in it.
Well, there's an attachment there.
attachment, pleasure, sex, companionship.
Hurts.
Huh?
Hurts, pain. Pain or hurt.
Yes, that's it, the companionship. Hurt, pain. Go on, examine it. Learn about it, for God's sake.
It can also be sharing.
Sharing. And also there is irritation, there is hurt, loneliness.
It seems to me that most of these things we just mentioned are what we normally say is relationship, but I think are not a relationship at all.
So what is relationship? If these are not relationship, which we call relationship, in which we live, you influence me, I influence you, you hurt me, I hurt you, I'm attached to you, I'm all the rest of sex, pleasure, pain, everything in that. You said all that's not relationship, then what is relationship? Gosh, you people don't learn.
It is relationship because all those things happen in relationship.
In relationship between you and me, all this takes place. And he says, all this is not relationship.
That's what we call relationship.
Yes, what we call, but that's implied when we call relationship. Then what is relationship?
It's the same thing as when you talk about, or we talk about, love. All these things are what most people associate with love, and we say
this is what we call love. Is that it?
This is what the world
No.
associates with love.
This is what we call love.
Okay.
My God.
But we've
what?
gone into this many times, and we've said this is
of
not
course
love.
I've gone into it 10 million times. But you won't learn.
The relationship comes from being related to somebody.
So, if I influence you and you influence me and I like it and you also like it, I like to influence you and you like being influenced, and also you like to influence me and I like to influence by you, not by others. That we call lovely relationship.
Yes, we don't see that. We do.
Abdul? Oh, we are so happy together. Waddling in the same, You scratch my back and scratch yours. Attachment and the despair when you run away from me. Dependence, pain, all that's implied in it. Now, come back. We'll go into relationship much deeper if you want to learn about it. I am the result of this vast influence. Right, Nelson? And I see, if I live in this enclosure, if my whole life is spent in this terrible enclosure of being conditioned through influence, where is freedom? What is intelligence? What is anything? You follow? God is invented by man, right? No. And that invention has influenced me for 2,000 years, which I have invented. And if I discard that, I go to another God. Right? So what is my mind to do? Do you want to learn about it? That means you have to give time, energy, curiosity, attention, seriousness to find out. Just don't say, I'm not influenced. That has no meaning. Or I am influenced only in one direction and not in others, which is equally silly. I accept totally that I'm influenced all round. I'm the result of this tremendous traditional influence of the parents, of the society, of the church, religion, economics. Oh, good Lord.
What would we be if we were totally uninfluenced?
Find out. Come over this side. Take trouble. Find out if it is possible, if it is really possible. You understand, sir? If it is possible for a mind to be never touched by the human mess.
Can you go into that more, sir?
But we're part of the human mess.
Hmm?
We're part of the human mess.
We are part of the human mess, quite right. So what are you going to do? Just say I'm part of it and waddle in that mess for the rest of my life till I die? What shall I do? And we are educated to play around in that mess. Right, Nelson?
I've got lost somewhere. I was thinking, I asked this question, but I don't know if you got the right meaning of it. What makes, like there's...
What makes you put that question?
Yes.
Yes, I thought so. Hmm?
Yes, what makes you put that? Why do you say that these 2,000 years and nobody made that question?
No, I don't say nobody has. Probably many people have. I don't know. I'm saying, you are asking me, why do you put the question that in living in this state there is no freedom? Hmm?
Not why do you put that question, but how is it possible that you can put that question to yourself?
I'm doing it. I've done it. I'll show it to you. First of all, I see, I recognize, I have an insight, I examine this fact that I'm influenced. Right? That I'm the result of influence. That's a fact, isn't it? I know. Now you just don't agree. It's a real fact as that microphone. Do you see that? If I'm born in America, I have certain conditioning. If I'm born in Russia, in India, it is much worse because it is so old and so all the rest of it. And every influence has made me what I am today. And I say to myself, as long as I live in that, there must be suffering, there must be pain, there must be grief, there must be anxiety, there can be never love. You follow? So I see that. And then I say, is it possible to have a mind which has not been influenced at all? Go on, sir, this is...
Or do you mean that will no longer be influenced?
which has no influence, which has never been touched by influence.
Well, my mind has been touched
No.
in the past. So
No, don't ever say has or is. Your mind is the result of influence,
yes. So you're
as it
asking-
is now.
Yes. Okay.
Not okay, it is
No,
so. Sorry.
No, I understand what you're meaning.
Yeah, right. Then the next question can there be such a mind which is not influenced, which is not the result of influence?
You're influenced when you're younger, even by your mother, and there's not all that much you can do about it when you're younger.
So is that possible? I'm influenced by my mother, by my parents, by the way they dress, their speech. They tell me do this, don't do that. Get up, don't get up. Don't talk that way. Good manners, bad manners. You follow? Walk straight, don't... They're telling me this from morning till night. Not only the parents, the priest, the economist, the socialist, the communist. Huh? Everybody is pouring in this into me. And I rebel against it and join that group who are also pouring in that one.
So we come again to the question, how do we deal with the influence, or, I mean, is it possible to live without influence?
We are going to find out.
But also, at the same time, when you ask that question, are you asking it because you want to flee from
Yes,
that?
right.
Or you want to learn it once
Yeah.
again?
I said, that's right. Have you learned, are you learning that you are the result of all this influence? So when you say, I think this is so, or I say this is right, or I don't want you to be influenced, you are still part of that influence. Right? So you pipe down with your opinions, with your judgments, right? If you are learning, you come down from the ladder and say, please, I'm sorry, I am the result of my influence, whatever I say, take it easy. Don't get angry, don't grouse, don't complain. That's part of learning, isn't it? Are you doing it? So, I want to find out my mind, which has been influenced by 1,000 years, you understand, sir? 10,000 years. Can that mind ever be free of all influence? Or is that impossible?
Is it possible to make oneself unavailable to influence?
Huh?
Is it possible to make oneself unavailable to influence?
Is it possible not to be influenced?
You said unavailable.
Unavailable, same thing. Unavailable to influence. But you are the result of all the influences. You can't say, well, I won't be available to influence, because what is available has been filled in. You understand?
Yes, but I mean, you see politicians influence people.
Unfortunately, yes.
So, one doesn't like to be involved with politicians because they corrupt you.
Then you can't be involved with politicians. You can't be involved with priests. You can't be involved with professors. You can't be involved with your wife. You can't be involved with your neighbor. So gradually you close in.
So influence convinced him of saying that all politicians are corrupt, and so I don't want anything to do with.
But then all priests are corrupt. All follow. So you gradually, by your saying, "I won't," you shut yourself in a little small hole. Right?
So it seems like you can't close yourself off from them. So the change has to come from within.
No. That may also be an influence. So you say to you, I'm asking you, is there a mind which is untouched by man's thought?
That's no mind.
Huh?
It is no mind.
No,
because the mind is...
I am asking you, Tunki, if there is such a mind, don't say it's not a mind, it's something else. Your mind, Tunki, your mind is conditioned by 1,000 years of Japanese and Chinese and Mongolian and the Eastern influence and all the rest of it. And you've come to this country and it has influenced you. Climate, food, etc. You are the result of all that. But when you suddenly realize, not being told, but realize, have an insight, feel that you're totally conditioned by this influence, what's your response? What's your response?
The thing is, I don't see clearly.
No, come on, Tunki, after an hour's explanation, God, don't tell me you don't see clearly.
No, I might feel partly and also understand intellectually, but...
But I mean, it's a fact. That plant over there is conditioned by the climate, by the etc., etc. You are.
Yes, but I think what he's asking is, have I seen this deeply enough?
Well,
or do I just think
it's a fact. You don't see deep or shallow or super. It's so.
One of the questions is, why is there no dry force in realizing this? There is no dry force. I mean, something which one tends to feel, well, there's nothing you can do, and there's no dry force either to change or do anything.
Right. First of all, Tunki, do you see this, or do you see the idea of this? You see the difference? Yeah. Do you see this actually, or do you see this as an idea? Microphone. This is very important. Look at it, Tunki, take time. Please, all of you, take time. Look at it. Do you see this actually, without the word, or do you see it with the word? Or the word makes you see it? You follow it? Oh, for God, come on. Nelson, what do you do?
Yeah, but you're...
I'm asking you a simple question, old boy. Don't rush off to something else.
You're going to ahead of me, I don't know.
I'm asking you a very simple question. Okay. I mean, Nelson, do you see this thing, or do you see it as an idea? It's called microphone. We've all agreed that's called microphone. We may all agree to say that's a giraffe. Then it will be all right. But we've all agreed to call it microphone. Do you see that, or do you see it as an idea, as a word, microphone? And therefore the word is not the real, but this is real. The word is not the thing. This is real.
How do you notice when you are looking with the word? Because, like, when you walked in, I was watching, and I have my ideas, and then I noticed that I was looking through what I think about you, and then only I looked.
That means.
I mean, how does that step take place?
Of course, that means you're looking at the person who entered with the image that you have about him. Therefore, you're not watching him coming in, you're watching the image coming in.
Yes, so
Wait, hold it. See the truth of that. Right? So, when you have an image, you are not actually seeing, right? Then, can you put away the image and see?
Yes, how does that happen?
I mean, I'm going to show you. You first see the fact that you look at a person with the image. Therefore, you don't see the person. Right?
But you don't even notice that when you're looking with the image, though.
So, why do you create an image? The next question.
Yes, but...
How is the image formed? Why do you form it? Come on. It's all for you.
Otherwise you wouldn't be able to move.
I know. Otherwise, he says, you won't be able to live.
Move.
Huh? Move. Otherwise, you won't be able to move.
There's a good example of this is there's a kind of painting called perceptual impressionism.
Yes.
And that is to see that the thing, not the thing, because if you're really looking at it, there's no thing. But anyway, to see the thing without the idea of it. So if I look at that microphone without the idea of it, it merges into the light and shade of the background. Parts of it are still there and parts of it just merge into the background.
What? Where does movement come into this?
Well, there isn't any individual thing. Everything is one.
No, sir. Just a minute. I'm asking, why do you have an image? You know the word idea? You know idea? Are you asleep or waiting for lunch? It's 1:10. We'll have to stop. The word idea means in Greek, came from Greek, which means to see. You understand? He sees the man walking in. Right? You saw it with your eyes. Then you drew a conclusion from that seeing. Right? An image from that seeing. Therefore, you made an abstraction of the fact. Right? You understand this? Do you understand this? He is my brother. I see him, but I have made an abstraction of him. And according to that abstraction, I act, I move. Are you getting this? Oh Lord, come on. So why do I do this? I see, draw an abstraction as a conclusion, as an image, and therefore I'm living with a word and not with reality. You follow? Why do I do this?
Well, we want certain things from you, or...
No, why do we, not me, why do we generally do this?
So you can hold it in your memory.
What?
You can store it in your memory.
Yes, but why do we do this? Go on, go into it, learn.
Because in order to think, we have to separate things out. You have to
Yes,
define
but
them.
I'm looking at that man coming in. That's a fact, he's coming in. And I draw a conclusion from that. Why?
Well, if you come in and I have no image with you, then I have to, then I don't know what you are. I have no idea what you are.
Why should you know about what I am?
Well, then I might have some fear that I don't know what you're going to do.
So you have a fear, fear, and what else? Move, sir. Find out.
Well, the way I see it is that you have to insulate yourself from not knowing about what the world is like, what's happening.
No, I know what the world is like.
You think you do?
No, actually I see what's... In Italy they are kidnapping people. That's a fact. Vietnam.
Go back to the microphone.
No, I'm taking that. I am taking Italy. They are kidnapping boys and girls of rich people. Why should I have an abstraction about it? It's a fact. If I can deal with it, I can't deal with a non-fact. I don't know if I can deal with kidnapping, but not with saying how terrible it is, how ugly it is, how brutal it is, and go off. Then I will say, all right, what has brought about this kidnapping craze? Is it man becoming worse and worse and worse? You follow, sir? I can deal with that, not with abstractions. I can't deal with an abstraction of Jesus.
But if we insist on sticking with that example, I might say that to call it kidnapping is already an abstraction.
No.
No, I mean, I could say that all that has happened is that one person has taken another person and put them in an automobile and driven away with them.
No, he's my son. Wait a minute. He's driven away, he wants money from me.
Yes, but I mean, that you call it kidnapping.
No, I call it kidnapping. I accepted that word, kidnap, to take away somebody from all the rest of it. He's taking my son away because he wants money from me.
But that's already an image.
No, money. He wants...
may not want money from you. This person may want something else from you. He may want to influence your decision.
No, he doesn't. He
may want you to release hostages.
He has taken my son away because he wants money, nothing else.
Can't we be much simpler? You come into the room, a person comes into the room. One looks up and sees, either you recognize the person, and that whole association happens instantly, it's someone I know, it's so-and-so, or it's a total stranger, in which case, also instantly, you say, who is it, why is he here? Now, is that
I said, look, I came here, walked through that room, and sat down here and said, what shall we talk about? Learning. Wait. That's all I was concerned. I wasn't concerned about who came in, who you are. Nothing. I just want to find out if you wanted to know. No. Look, my lady.
When does it...
That must have a subtle mind, otherwise you just... Of course you must have a quick, subtle, sensitive mind, otherwise you just mess around. Now we better stop because it's 1:15. First, let's see. Have you learnt anything this morning? After an hour? An hour and a quarter? Nearly 2 hours, sorry. Have you learnt anything?
Well, we seems to take something.
No, Tunke, I'm asking you, have you learnt anything this morning? Have you found out anything? Yes? What have you found? Be simple. What have you found?
About myself?
No, in talking over together for nearly 2 hours, what have you discovered? That also applies to her, not to her. Don't look at her. I turned away from looking at her.
I have discovered I influence people and I am influenced.
So then what? Go on. You have not discovered, you are aware of it.
Right. Therefore, I look into it and see what I can find.
All right. I don't want to complicate it. Now, you will think about it. Huh? Go to your room, think about it. Or do you see it immediately?
I see it immediately.
No, the whole structure of it, immediately.
I see it. Now I'm trying to see how I can cope with it.
And the seeing is the doing. If you see a danger, you do, don't you? You don't say, well, I see a danger, I'll think about it. Right? So, do you see this? And therefore the seeing is the acting, the action is going on, because you have seen it. You understand? Sorry, lunch is so late. Do you like this kind of conversation?
Yeah. Yeah.
You are sure?
Yeah.
Why?
Because before I never was aware of it, so something like that exists.
So this really interests you?
Yeah.
Huh? Or is just passing time because 2 hours, no class, something else? If you are really interested in it, I'll do it properly with you. You understand? Not every day, twice a week. Go into it, everything. If you are really interested, but if you are not, don't bother about it. Because I am not exploiting you. I don't want to waste my time. I'd rather sit in my room or lie down in my room and listen to Beethoven or Mozart or whoever it is, or read or write. But if you are really serious about this, I will go into deeply with you. But if you play with it, I don't want to play with you. You understand? Because I've spent 50 years on this. You understand? It's my life. And I don't want to waste my life with people who are not interested in it. I'm not saying I'm hurt or not hurt, depressed. If you're not interested, it's all right. If you are interested, for God's sake, learn. Nobody's going to talk to you like this. Right, finished? Come on.